Welcome to today's talk about the subscription model. My name is Maggie, and I've been developing games based on beloved franchises like Jurassic, DC, and Pixar on console, online, and now mobile for 2 decades. Since I started, development costs have been soaring, doubling each generation on all platforms. Today, we're all seeking ways to improve our revenue in an ever more competitive market using a sustainable approach. In the next half hour, I will share some of the most useful insights we gained from experimenting with subscriptions over the last 4 years. My sincere hope is that you'll gain something from this lecture that helps you implement the subscription model more effectively into your own games. But first thing first, I'd like to start by giving you a bit of a background about our company. Ludia was founded in 2008 and is a medium-sized studio of around 400 people located in the Old Port of Montreal. We originally made console games, but quickly adapted to Facebook, followed by premium mobile games, and then finally, freemium. This constant adaptation of our business model to better pursue opportunities in the growing video game market reinforce our entrepreneurial spirit and the desire to give each game team a lot of freedom and independence within our studio. But even if methods, strategies, and game genres vary from project to project, there's one important constant. Subscriptions perform well and fairly evenly across all our titles. Today, we have 5 games thriving. Our first generation of games supporting subscriptions are both builders. How to Train Your Dragons, Rise of Berk, and Jurassic World the Game were released in 2014 and 15 respectively. The second generation of games is more diversified and addresses a wider public. Jurassic World Alive is a geolocation game with a real-time competitive battle. It was released in spring 2018. How to Train Your Dragons, Titan Uprising is a puzzle fighter, and it followed 6 months later. Finally, Warriors of Waterdeep is an RPG game based on the D&D license. It was launched officially 1 year ago. Using those 5 games as a reference, I want to give you an idea on how the subscription model can impact your bottom line. So let us start with some interesting numbers. We made $1 million the first week we introduced subscription in 1 game alone. As of today, subscription account for up to 30% of our gross revenue. But this is not just about the financial impact. Subscribers will stay significantly longer than traditional in-app purchasers. But all of this was not obvious in the beginning. To understand how these numbers came about, let me take you back in time and give you some context. Once upon a time, roughly 4 years ago, we learned behind closed doors that Apple and Google were expanding the subscription infrastructure to games. Our president, who had explored this model in a previous startup, got excited about this opportunity and became the champion in promoting this feature. Following his lead, we launched our VIP service in Jurassic World the Game 6 months before it was made available by the first parties. But all was not perfect from the start. While our initial launch of the service allowed you to subscribe, you had to renew manually when the subscription expired. However, this shortcoming did not prevent us from reaching $1 million for the first week. Furthermore, even if we consider this an awesome performance, it didn't come without problems. Our first version focused heavily on exclusive content, and the community was very vocal about their dislikes, seeing this as a new paywall. We also included benefits in every features and in every updates, which over time proved to be detrimental for in-app purchase. But we chose to not let perfect to be the enemy of good and kept pushing forward and forward. And our commitment paid off. Being first to innovate with this model made us leaders in the subscription model for freemium games while it is exploding. Case in point, the subscription service offered by Google and Apple doubled in revenue year after year. The subscription model has seen the fastest growth among all models for the past 4 years. Now, if you allow me, let's dissect a little bit the next number, which shows you just how much this new product impacted our bottom line. Indeed, 30% of our gross revenue is an important piece of the pie. Broadly speaking, across all our games, and regardless of the genre, using the subscription product alone increased our gross revenue by 13% or more in a consistent fashion year over year. Based on this reliable performance, we now include subscriptions in all our games from day one. But this is not all. We're also seeing that subscribers purchase more compared to non-subscriber players. In fact, over 60% of our gross revenue comes from subscribers. And again, I want to emphasize that this is true on most of our titles equally, which makes this data very reliable. Finally, and not the least, subscribers play more and longer. Obviously, the longer the game has been available, the longer the player lifetime expectancy can be. Free players are notoriously finicky, and they won't stay long. Paying users, however, will remain in the game far longer. If you add subscriptions, the player's lifetime will increase by over 33% compared to non-subscribers, regardless of game genre or the release date. This is likely due to the fact that the most engaged players are planning to stay longer, which makes subscription a natural extension to meet their needs. By now, I hope you're starting to be excited about what subscription can do for you. But before we go deeper and talk about best practices, let us clarify what we mean by this model. Subscription gives people access instead of permanent ownership to virtual content, services, and premium features. It will automatically renew at the end of each subscription period until the user chooses to cancel it. This business model isn't anything new, and you probably use one as we speak. How many of you are subscribed to Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Spotify? I'm assuming all of us. In some important ways, ownership has given way to monthly payments in many aspects of our lives, from streaming movies to cars and everything in between, making everything more accessible quickly. This is also true in the mobile gaming industry, where for a fixed monthly fee, the player can get more from his favorite game. We generally categorize them into three groups. Paywall, which is the standard model for broadcasting services, like Disney Plus, where you're required to become a subscriber on day one to enjoy the app. This is also a good option if you are making games for younger kids, as parents would only need to commit once. The metered model, which allows users to enjoy the service for limited time or limited use. A good example of this is the New York Times app, where you can read up to 10 stories for free before you have to join. And then there is the mix model, which is used in most freemium games. This is when you mix subscriptions with another business model, like in-app purchases. For the remainder of this conversation, I will focus solely on this model and walk you through the best practices we established over the years while sharing some of our successes and failures around three main axes. How to define the offer itself and avoid cannibalization. How to promote it to convert as many players as you can. And what you can do to improve your retention. So let's dig in. Let's start with step one, crafting your order. In a subscription model, consumers look at all the options available to enhance their experience as the driving factor instead of ownership. At least that's what the theory tells us. This is why we implemented benefits in every feature in hope to improve conversion and make the subscription irresistible. We also included even more benefits in each following update. Actually, the list of benefits for our first generation of games is so long that I couldn't make it fit on screen. At first, this strategy looked like the right one. We were making 30% additional revenue just by selling subscriptions. It sounds great, don't you think? However, as we added benefits over the years, it became harder and harder to balance the economy, and we started cannibalizing in-app purchase. This was particularly true on Jurassic World. Due to production challenges, the second generation of games focused on a much more limited set of features, but that still offered clear and ongoing benefits. For Jurassic World Alive, this means a one-time gift, an extended range to help you in geolocation, more resources in supply drop, and special VIP-only sales. For Titan Uprising, it means a one-time gift, more inventory space, more currency, and special VIP-only sales. For Warriors of Waterdeep, this means a one-time gift, a daily chest that improves month over month, bonus cards in regular rewards, and special VIP-only sales. I'm sure you've noticed the pattern by now. Essentially, we include one gift, one feature, a little bit more resources, and special VIP sales. With this strategy, do you think we improved or reduced conversion for subscriptions? We actually improved the conversion. There's no correlation between number of features and success. Furthermore, once you have introduced features, it is almost impossible to remove them. Once upon a time, 5% of Jurassic World, the game DAU, were VIPs. But when we remove one of the benefits to address a problem in our economy, we lost 25% quickly. This happened almost a year ago, and we're still trying to recuperate from this. So start small and iterate. It will be much easier to find the perfect balance for your game. When we started, our strategy was also focused on exclusive content and features. For example, one of the main selling points in Rise of Berk is the White Fury, which gives you access to exclusive missions and dragons. The problem with exclusive content is that paying and non-paying users feel segregated, and this can have a poor perception in the community, particularly if you're building a highly competitive PvP game. Instead, seek opportunities to make the player's life easier and better. We know that even if Jurassic World Alive is a geolocation game, we invite you to explore the real world. Users will still play from a fixed location, either home, work, or school, 80% of the time. This is not surprising when we think about it. Physically walking requires effort, and it may not be convenient during the entire day. We all wish we could make our players more physically active through our games. However, we prefer providing options to them by making the game more accessible and convenient to play. As such, the main feature we promote is an extended interactive range. Many geolocation games have a 30-meter range. We provide 150 meters instead for free. To give you an idea of the difference, the dark blue circle at the bottom of the screen is 30 meters, while the blue line over there is 150 meters. As you can see, this is already generous, but we increased it even more for subscribers. As a VIP, you get an additional 33% range, which allows you to collect even more dinosaurs and do even more battles. Essentially, we're providing more gameplay for less effort. Finally, focus on creating a distinct offer that doesn't compete with the rest of your catalog. You wouldn't include 2 packs offering the same content in the store at the same time, but we often do this with subscription. While adding benefits to existing features, this is exactly what we did in Jurassic World, the game. In-game, you have a special trader for subscribers, where you can exchange common resources for rarer ones. However, the main product we sell in the store are creatures and resources. By allowing users to min-max their resources freely, we made subscription so useful that it became detrimental to in-app purchase. To give you an idea, 800,000 food is about $20. However, it may cost you $50 in the store for the same creature pack. Do you think the 2 offers are equal? They look similar, no? So before you start designing your offer, look at the particularities of your game to identify player needs and pain points to provide a more enticing deal. By creating a clear identity for your product, you will avoid cannibalization across your portfolio. For Jurassic World Alive, we learned from our previous experience. The subscription model offers benefit for exploring the world and make playing outside even more enjoyable. While the in-app focuses on getting an edge in battle and sells DNA. If you do not make your subscription unique, you risk cannibalization and make your communication to the player ambiguous. Now that you've designed your product, let us look at how to actually improve conversion. With these few tips, you can hope to improve conversion by over 10%. The first thing you should know about is that 50% of your subscribers will convert within 5 days of install. This is usually true across our game. This is why having a ton of features or locking benefits based on the player progression don't pay off. Because players will convert prior to fully understanding the game subtleties or a product value. As such, having a clear communication strategy is key for converting subscribers. Keep things simple and accessible. As a matter of fact, marketing research shows us that you have less than a few seconds to explain the benefits of your product if you want to be successful. And here are 3 important golden rules to grow your subscriber base. The first one is upsell. The second one is upsell. And the third one, well, you guessed it, upsell. And the most effective way to do this is to show rather than tell in their respective context. 70% of the subscription purchase is done in the store, but the more you show the benefits in their context, the greater your overall conversion will be. This sounds like absolute logic, but you would be surprised at how easy it is to forget this simple strategy. And you can push this idea even further. In most of our games, we schedule live ops events where subscribers get an edge or have exclusive access. As an example, Jurassic World Alive has an event where some extremely rare dinosaur spawn on the map once every quarter. By being a VIP, you gain more DNA during your one and only attempt to collect it. For Rise of Berg, you can double your odds for puzzle pieces to unlock the monthly dragon. And Jurassic World the game has exclusive battles every week. Our data shows a strong correlation between the promotion of these exclusive events and an increase of our conversion rate by approximately 10%. So now we use live ops to improve conversion in all our games. Finally, offering a high one-time reward is key in making the initial purchase a no-brainer. This enticing offer also plays on the fear of losing out on a great deal, which builds excitement for starting out as a subscriber. But don't go overboard. Too much value on the one-time rewards, even if it improves conversion, could backfire on you and negatively impact other metrics. We learned that painful lesson in one of our games, Titan Uprising. So there's definitely a sweet spot. The general rule of thumb should be that when you're creating a one-time reward, the value of what you're offering should roughly match the value of the first month of subscription. The last weapon in our arsenal is, you guessed it, the free trial. You could guess that free is always good, and you would be right to do so. It does translate in a 10% average increase in paying subscribers. But on the flip side, our analytics suggest that their longevity tends to be much shorter. By now, you probably noticed that all our visual is golden. This is not a coincidence. Making something look luxurious and special promotes the idea of acquiring something unique and valuable. But you should not underestimate the importance of using special effect and animation to improve visual impact. For instance, Jurassic World the game improved its conversion in the store by 10% simply by adding animation in the store, which allowed them to communicate more clearly, more features, and draw attention in an already very busy store. And last but not least, a successful subscription strategy could not be complete without developing the means and abilities to keep your subscribers. However, your levers are much more limited. Here's an interesting observation that makes the application of the strategies we are discussing somewhat predictable in their outcome. As you can see here, conversion month after month is similar across all our games. So while the subscription offer varies in content and features across titles, the data itself keep trending in the same direction. But how long can we make this subscription last? As long as possible, of course, which according to our data represent about 5 to 6 months, but this includes free trial users. Some attentive observers might have noticed that our most recent games have lower renewals. But we expect those numbers to normalize as games age. And yes, D&D does not offer free trial. Another way to look at this is that a VIP purchase is equivalent to a high-end pack in monetary terms, and a little less for users who converted via the free trial. When faced with a player end of subscription, and in addition to the free trial, you should at the very least make sure that 2 countermeasures are in your arsenal. The optimization of renewal using grace period and retry billing to prevent involuntary churn. If this fails, the addition of win-back offers where the player can be cajoled into getting back into the game as a subscriber with a discount is always available. Some of you are probably thinking, but can you use the price as a lever? You should know that all our products are at $10 nowadays, so it may skew some of our results. However, we explored once a higher price point, $20, but the backlash from the community affected our ratings, and by extension, our ability to be featured since we fell under 4 stars. As such, we reverted to a more traditional $10 price point. This doesn't mean it is not possible to have a higher price point. One competitor game offers a subscription at $30 successfully by making it a currency subscription. But clearly, Netflix has created a benchmark in terms of value when it comes to entertainment, and it is hard to change player expectations, even across media platforms. The key strategies we just discussed form the core of what we found in implementing a subscription-based model. But 4 years in the freemium industry is a long time. So in effect, it does not comprise everything we've learned. There were many iterations, many trials and errors. So I would like to take this opportunity to reflect a bit on 2 other interesting things we've learned over the years before concluding. Our first and foremost discovery was in fact a simple solution to a need that became apparent based on who is buying from the store. As we shared, over 60% of our revenue are generated by subscribers. So we first started by offering to these players ad hoc special sales. But in time, these transformed into a permanent store section just for them. By creating the VIP-only store, we managed to increase our daily revenue by more than 10%. The last one is more a cautionary tale. In case you're wondering, this does sound more easy than it is. As much as this is an amazing opportunity, it's only fair that you should be warned about the scope of the endeavor. Let's state it bluntly. The reality is this. Larger studios will have an easier go at implementing a subscription-based model. The most obvious reason for this is a technical one. Subscription requires a full back-end architecture, which comes with a significant development cost. On top of this, Apple and Google are developing features for subscription continuously, which requires you to adapt constantly. Does this mean that all is hopeless for smaller studios? Not necessarily. It all depends on the return on the investment in your particular situation. You're the best person to make that decision. So let us take a couple of minutes to wrap up. In short, subscription is a highly valuable monetization strategy and is now part of all our games from day one. You should focus on providing ease of access instead of exclusive content to your users. It might be counterintuitive, but less is more in this context to improve overall performance of the game. Give a good reason for converting the first time, but then limit the amount of resources provided in it to prevent in-app cannibalization. Don't forget to iterate on your presentation to make the message clear and use lush animated visuals to convert better. Upsell the subscription in every context possible, including live ops events, to boost conversion. And finally, add a subscriber-only store to maximize revenue. But this is only the beginning. At the end of last year, we introduced our first hard cash subscription in Jurassic World the game, and more recently, our first battle pass in Warriors of Waterdeep. So needless to say that at Ludia, we believe in this model, and we will continue to explore new options and support new features in the coming years to continue this amazing journey. I hope that this presentation and our learning from the past piqued your curiosity and generated new ideas for your game. I will be available for questions after, so I'm looking forward to our exchange and hearing about your experiences as well. Thank you so much.